Hey friends. I don't do many video posts in cars. I think I've done maybe only 3 or 4 over the entire history of my video post. However, desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm sitting outside a wedding that I just played. I played for part of the reception. It was beautiful. It was actually a wedding. It was the wedding of Annalise's violin teacher. She's marrying a great guy. Super fun, very cool. Really fun to play a wedding again. I haven't done that I can't even remember the last one. So anyway, so it's been a fun day. I had a session this morning with the osteopath, Andrew the osteopath. And if you watch my posts regularly, you've heard me talk about Andrew. And this was my first time seeing him since getting the diagnosis of what's going on in this wrist from the hand specialist. And it was interesting because Andrew was not thoroughly convinced by the diagnosis. And, I don't know what he's he knows way more about anatomy than I do, and it's not that he thinks that it's been misdiagnosed. I think it's just he doesn't think that the diagnosis is complete. And I honestly, couldn't tell you if it's complete either, because I know that there is a rupture. I know that there's some kind of tear in my scapholunate ligament. I don't know if it's a complete tear. I didn't actually see any soft tissue on the images I looked at. So anyway, it was interesting. And but in addition to kind of putting a bit of a question mark over the diagnosis and making me think, okay, I really actually want to find out a little more about this, Andrew also did some really fantastic healing work on my left shoulder, which I've been feeling. I fell on it a little while back. He did some work on it, and he talked about the way that the fulcrum point for the arm is the clavicle, right? Ties in right here. And if that gets jammed, like if you bump your shoulder and it jams that in, then all of a sudden the arm is not operating from its anatomically optimal fulcrum point, and that's where you get tension. That's where you get discomfort and out of alignment. So it explained for me why an injury that I sustained a while ago and that I thought was just going to naturally get better has it actually not gotten better. I'm feeling it more now than I did shortly after the injury. That was kind of confusing to me. It's obviously never a good sign. Like when something hurts a little bit when it happens, but then it gets worse, that's never great. But the other thing that he said, and it's not something that the way to put it is it's something that I hold I hold it with grace, let me say. Because what he said was, I talked about what I talked about on a post several days ago, which is the fact that I think this wrist injury, the shoulder injury, this phase of my life is about deciding whether my energy is going to go towards a kind of outward expression of force, or more sensitive and refined and conscious expression. And it's funny because this is one of the first things he said to me. I mean, in this last round of sessions with him several months ago, when I saw him after I came back from the summer and had the injury, and he talked about how his theory was that the injury happened because I was trying to direct an inappropriate amount of force through my hand, through my whole arm and mechanism, and ultimately through the hand, and that I had been cultivating something else. I had been moving towards a more sensitive, a more light, a more free form of expression. And then I came back to a more forceful way of doing things, which was very much kind of like taking me back to my youth in some ways. You can tell, you see the wheels turning. It's because I'm thinking back all the way to middle school when I started lifting weights and building my body. And ultimately, I think it was a defense mechanism. That's what I have to come down. That's how I kind of have to come around to seeing it, if I'm really honest. And I've spoken about this. If you've watched my previous posts on this topic, is not new information to you, but I keep sort of seeing another layer of it and realizing, wow, I really did that kind of turn. I steered into a path of thinking that a certain kind of strength was going to protect me, affirm me, validate me. It's seeing a lot of layers. It's going back through family dynamics, sibling dynamics. It really takes me back into a place where I look at the relationships between myself and my brothers, my older brother, my younger brothers, and not just family, because it's, it was family in context, as long as there's a social context around that. But I don't know that it's vital that I unearth all the details of this, but what I do know is whenever I look, and especially whenever I go see Andrew, I seem to get the message. I seem to get the message delivery that My job is to find my way back to a fully conscious, undefended form of strength. And Andrew said, if you make that decision and if you commit to that, the way he said it was, I think it's possible that this injury can heal, but I think you might need to make that decision fully. You might need to be fully in that place in order for it to heal. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. So that's where I'm at. And the sun is going down, as you can see. But that's always such a welcome thing to remember. It's such a welcome thing to embrace. Not just the possibility of healing, which of course is welcome, but the possibility of living from a place where doing myself injury is no longer necessary, and doing other people injury is no longer necessary. That feels important. That's where I am, folks. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.